Hello, good morning everybody. Myself Sunil Pawar from New Catholic Mission High Secondary School Jhabua welcomes you back for the new session of 12th class biology. Okay, as you know that in our previous video, in the previous session, we already finished our first unit, that is the reproduction, right? Now we are going to start the second one. Okay, we are starting from the chapter 5, that is the principles of inheritance and variation, right? For our convenience, we divided it into 3 parts. So today we are going to learn the first part. In this, basically we will talk about the general introduction and the Mendelian work, right? So here basically we consider that genetics. Okay, this portion is also considered as the genetics. Clear? So what is the genetics? Genetics is actually derived from a Greek word, that is the genesis. Okay, genesis means to descend or to produce. Simply, if we want to define the term genetics, then genetics is the branch of biology which deals with inheritance and variation of characters from parents to offspring. Remember, 2 words are there: inheritance and variation. This 2 thing is very important in the genetics section. Clear? Now one more thing, genetics is the study of principles and mechanism of heredity and variation. Clear? And the name is very clear, that is the Gregor John Mendel, or what we commonly know him as a G.J. Mendel. He is also known as the father of genetics. Clear? This genetics is actually the branch of biology who deals with the study of the genetic material. What is the genetic material? Almost of organisms having their genetic material as DNA, and very few of them as RNA. Okay, likewise the bacteriophages and this one thing. Clear? And some plant viruses are also there, but almost all are having their genetic material DNA. Okay, and you know that this genetic material is responsible to express the phenotypic characters of any individual. Clear? These phenotypic characters are actually the expression of the combination of the genotype which that organism received from his or her parents. Clear? So biology is not only to learn about the inheritance of the character, but it is also the this genetics is also the study of the genetic material, its structure, its inheritance. What is the inheritance? The descending of this parental character from one generation to next generation. Clear? Just like that, this term is given. Inheritance is the process by which characters are passed on from parents to progeny. Okay, at the basis of heredity. Clear? The phenomenon or the process of passing the characters, parental character, from parental generation to their next generation, that is called as the offspring, or what we call the second generation. Clear? And generation by generation, this characters is actually maintained by the species, and this is only because of genetic material. Okay, but along with this identical features, along with the similarity, somewhat differences is also observed. You know that in this nature no one is identical. Sorry, just like that, you are not exact copy of your parents, you are not identical with your brother or sister. Okay, your father is not similar, exactly identical with your uncle. Okay, and your father is somewhat varying from your grandfather. Okay, and you are very much varying from your great-grandfather. This is why, because when this parental character transfer from one generation to next generation, then they will have somewhat changes, and this changes is kept in which category? That is called as the variation. Okay, so what is the variation? Variation is the degree by which progeny differ from their parents. Okay, and the variation may be in terms of morphology, physiology, cytology and behavioristic trait of individual belonging to the same species. Clear? That means simply if you want to define about the variation, then nothing is special. The process of becoming different. Different means from what, in which manner? From their previous generation. Clear? If any kind of change is observed in the present generation in comparison of the previous one, in which manner? In the term of morphology. What is the morphology? The external appearance of an individual. Clear? Then second one, that is the physiology. Physiology means what? The process or the phenomenon of working of the metabolism or the body organ system, that is called the physiology. Next, the cytology, the structure of cell, the composition and working, that is the cytology. And the behavioristic, not in any such manner, but only it change its behavior, that also comes under the heading of, that is the inheritance. Clear? And this inheritance is very important. You know that this variation is very important, because this variation is helpful for the adaptation. Clear? This variation is helpful for adopting the new feature which make them different from the previous one, and together it is responsible for organic evolution. Clear? So basically variation is of two types. One is hereditary variation and second is spontaneous, or what we call, that is the somatic variation or environmental variation. Clear? What is the hereditary variation? Such kind of variation which observe in an individual because of change in the genetic material. Clear? And this variation is important from the evolutionary point of view. Otherwise, if it is somatic only, then, or environmental only, then it will be only external. It cannot be carried out from one generation to next generation. So it is not of any importance. It will restricted with the same generation. While if these variations are hereditary, then it will carried out from one generation to next generation. So that's why it is very important from evolutionary point of view. Okay. Now this variation arises because of the reshuffling of the gene or the chromosome. Later in the next topics we will discuss about what is the variation in detail, but reshuffling of genes means what? Due to insertion, due to deletion, due to addition, due to gene mutation. If any reason is there, then it will be responsible to change the morphological, physiological properties of that individual, or change in the chromosome. Chromosome can be changed by the numbers, by the structure, okay, and in their appearance also. Clear? So this is the reshuffling of gene and chromosome. Then the crossing over or the recombination. I think so you are well familiar about the process of meiosis. You learn it in the 11th class very well. Clear? You know that during the first meiotic division there is a process of crossing over. During the crossing over, the exchange of the homologous part of the pair of the chromosome is observed. Who is responsible to bring the new characters in it? Clear? So this is the crossing over or the recombination, who is responsible to bring the new changes or the variation. Clear? Then the mutation and the effect of environmental. Mutation means what? Any kind of sudden change which observed in any individual because of change in the genetic material, that is called as mutation. Okay? And the environmental impact also. These physical factors are also responsible for deciding the these changes in the individual. Clear? So finally we concluded that what kind of variations are important? More important is which one? That is the hereditary variation. Clear? Because it can be inherited, it can be transferred from one generation to next one, right? Now here we are going to discuss the Mendel's law of inheritance. Clear? Actually Mendel conducted is hybridization experiments on garden pea. Okay, simply we call it biologically Poisson sativum, and for 7 years and proposed the law of inheritance and living organism. Clear? You know about the Mendel? Gregor John Mendel was actually born in 1822 in Austria. Clear? You just wonder that he was from a farmer's family, right? First thing. Second thing, he completed his early study in the maths region. Okay, and you wonder that he completed his education and then he became a priest. He was appointed as a priest in a church. Then later on, because of its interest, he just worked in the premise of this nearby area or this church and this locality, and he concluded his experiment, right? And then because of his observation and mastery in mathematics, he was succeeded to analyze the data, to conclude the data, and finally to draw the results from this one thing. Okay, and he was far ahead of from his time, because that time nobody was known about the genetics. Even he was unknown about the gene and the genetic material. But see that what is the importance of observation in the science? Only and only observing and following the systematic way of studies, he come to conclude the inheritance of the character. He concluded that something inside the organism who is responsible to carry this character from one generation to next generation, right? And he named this character or this feature as a factor. And now these days in the modern genetics, we call this factor as a gene. And you know that whatever the laws he propounded or he derived, still it is valid. Nobody is able to prove this thing wrong. Okay, but because of his background, not performing in any laboratory, okay, and just published the results of his experiment in the local journals, scientific journal, he was not become as popular as the others learned this one thing, as well as because his work was quite ahead from this one thing, because nobody knows about the genetics. That's why his work was remain hidden or unnoticed for next 30 years. Then later on, the other co-workers, okay, Wiseman and other one, this Morgan and this one, they work on the same content and they also come to conclude the same results. Then this world universally accepted the work of the Mendels. So this is the feature. Okay. So now here we are going to discuss further. He worked with the which one thing? Garden pea, and you know that he performed nearly more than 10,000 experiments. See the determination, and later he concluded his results in the form of this observation and the laws. Okay, so he selected, why he selected this pea plant as a experimental material. First of all, pea has many distinct contrasting characters. Okay, you know that. There was no any intermediate character. Here we are talking about the contrasting character, means what? One is dominating and second is recessive. No any intermediate feature was there. So that's why it is easy to learn about their appearance and their inheritance. Okay. So this pea plant is having very clearly observed this distinct contrasting character, and the lifespan of the pea plant is very short. Okay, you know that it is a seasonal plant. So in a very short period it will complete its life cycle. That means both the vegetative and reproductive growth is performed by this pea plant very easily. Okay, this flowers show cell pollination and reproductive whorls being enclosed by corolla. This is the important feature to maintain its purity of genetic material. The flower is bisexual, is hermaphrodite, but still it performs the cell pollination because of this is the covered flower. Okay, corolla is responsible to cover the inner two whorls, so that's why more and more possibility of the cell pollination. Okay, and this is the reason why it maintains its purity. Next one thing, it is easy to artificially cross pollinate and the pea flowers, and the hybrid thus produced were fertile. This is very important feature. Okay, not only self pollination, but artificially we can pollinate cross, we can produce the hybrids. Okay, just like that, the techniques like the bagging and the emasculation can be performed with the help of this artificial involvement of the human beings. Clear? Just by removing the male reproductive part from one flower and just taking the stamens, mature stamens from the other flower, and by sprinkling over the stigma of this one thing, we can perform this cross pollination. Okay. Similarly, the bagging and tagging is the next idea to perform this one thing. But what is the most important thing? The hybrids which produced by this one were fertile. That means they were able to self pollinate and continue the next generation. Clear? Not only this one thing, this pea plant is all can grow anywhere. Its cultivation is very easy. At the same time, a large number of seed is produced by this one, so that's why a large number of progeny can be observed. So if any kind of variation is there, then it can be seen easily. Okay, so there is more chances of collecting more data. Now, how he worked actually? Clear? So he studied only one characters at a time. This is the key factor of his success. Mendel just work with the one character, one trait only. Okay, and he observed his transmission, his inheritance step by step. Clear? Next one thing, so he was quite able to focus on this one thing. He used all available techniques to avoid the cross pollination by undesirable pollen grains, just like this bagging and this one thing. Okay, so no cross pollination, no intermixing, no intermingling of any features. Then he applied mathematics and statistics to analyze the result obtained by him. His mathematical knowledge was quite helpful for collecting the data, grouping the data, analyzing the data, and drawing the conclusion from it. Clear? Then Mendel conducted artificial hybridization, cross pollination using the true breeding pea lines. What is the meaning of true breeding? True breeding lines are those that undergoes continuous self pollination and shows stable trait inheritance. Right? See that if any dominating feature, then it may have two type of genetic combination, either pure or mixed, and in both the two cases it will shows which feature? Dominating feature. Right. So whatever the character he observed, he was not immediately believe that this is the true breed. Okay, he allowed to continue self pollination, and he continued this observation for next 2 to 3 generations, and if the result was 100% same, then he was concluded it as a true breed. Clear? So it is the main key of success. Now hybridization experiment include the emasculation, we discussed it, and the transfer of pollen by the pollination from one flower to another. The Mendel called the factors that passes through gametes from one generation to next generation, and nowadays these factors are known as genes. Okay, so what we concluded? What are the facts which is responsible to carry them from one generation to another? That is the factors, and these factors now today we are calling at the genes. Clear? Now the genes that code for a pair of contrasting characters are known as alleles. Remember, what is the allele? Remember these terms. Allele is the gene who is responsible for contrasting characters. Okay, an allelic pair will consist of two type of character. One is dominating and second is recessive. Second one, the alphabetically symbols are used to represent each gene, capital letter for gene expressed in F1 generation and the small letter for the other generation of the gene. Remember, the capital alphabets basically used to express the dominant feature. Okay, and the small letters is used to represent the recessive features. So remember, when we express the dominating feature, then if it is homozygous in nature, then it will have both the two genes as a capital alphabet and the recessive with the small alphabets. Clear? Then Mendel also proposed that in true breeding, tall and dwarf varieties, allelic pair of genes for height is homozygous, and that is the capital TT, and the small tt for the dwarf one, and capital T small t for the mixed one. Okay, and he called it the genotype. Okay, and whatever the external expression, that is called as the phenotype. So here again the two terms are there. One is genotype and second is phenotype. So what is the genotype? Genotype is the genetic combination or the constitution of a living being, okay, who is responsible to decide the external features or anatomical features of this one thing, that is called as phenotype. Clear? So what you observe externally, your height, the color of hair, the color of eyes, the shape of the nose, the shape of the chin, the earlobe, these all are phenotypic feature. And whatever the genes and the chromosome is responsible internally, that is called as genotype. So remember this thing. Now the hybrids which contain alleles which express contrasting traits are called heterozygous. Okay, those who are having this contrasting pair of allelic gene, they are called as heterozygous. That means when they will form the gametes, then it will heterozygous in nature. That means two type of gametes will form, 50% with dominating feature and 50% with recessive features. Okay, the monohybrid ratio of F2 generation of hybrid is 3:1 phenotypic. That means 3 were dominating and 1 was recessive. As well, the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. 1 is pure dominating, 2 is mixed dominating, and 1 is recessive one. Clear? So remember this feature. So now here Mendel selected 7 contrasting characters of Garden P for his hybridization experiment. Okay, and what are these 7 characters? So here we can see that this is a tabular form and it's pictorial expression here. Okay, this character, first one, that is the stem height. Okay, the stem height, it may be tall or it may be dwarf. If you observe the tall and dwarfness, then tall is up to 5 to 6 feet in length and tall is hardly 2 to 3 feet in length. That means a clear cut difference. Clear? So tall is dominating, dwarf is recessive. Then the flower color, the violet and the white one. Clear? Violet color is the dominating one and white is the recessive one. Then the flower position, this is the axial and this is the terminal. Okay, the flower which grows on the axis of the plant, this is called as axial, and which grows on the end of the branch, that is called as terminal. So this axial is the dominating and terminal is the recessive one. Then the pod shape. Okay, this pod which is inflated, okay, there is no constriction or the grooves is observed externally, then it is dominating, and there is the constrictions are there. That means from externally you can identify that what is the number of seeds inside it, some kind of features are there, then you can conclude this is the dominating and recessive one. Then here the next one, there is the pod color, very clear, green is the dominating and yellow is the recessive one. Then finally here we come to discuss the seed color. The yellow color seed is dominating and the green color seed is recessive one. Then the seed shape, round shaped seed is dominating, and this wrinkle means folds are present on the seed covering. Okay, so this is the difference between these 7 features. Now here we are going to discuss the next one, that is the monohybrid cross. Okay, so what is the monohybrid cross? A hybridization cross in which the inheritance of only one pair of contrasting character is studied. Okay, remember, only one pair of contrasting character. That means if one parent is dominating, then second parent will be recessive with single character. Likewise, you can take the height of the plant, or you can take the color of the flower, you can take the shape of the seed, whatever. Then Mendel cross actually here this purple flower plant with the white flower. Here you can see that it is denoted with the capital letters and this is the small letters. So this is the dominating feature and this is the recessive feature, and this generation is called as the parental generation. Clear? Because these are pure traits, so that's why it will produce only one type of gamete, that is the capital P, and it will produce only one type of gamete, that is small p. When these two get crossed, then a hybrid is produced, that is the purple. Okay, you can see that this generation is called the F1 generation. Okay, but what do you observe? Only and only dominating character is appearing there. Okay, recessive character is not appeared. But what do you observe about the genotype? Genotype is showing the mixed trait. It is heterozygous in nature. That means it is containing both the two allelic genes, dominating as well as recessive one. Okay, but which character is observed? Only and only dominating. That means in F1 generation 100% individuals will be dominating in nature. That means 100% flowers will be purple in color. Okay, now what happened? Now we allow to self pollinating. Okay, as a result of this self pollination, when we observe the second generation, we call it the F2 generation, then what do you observe? 3 out of this 4, 3 of them is showing the dominating feature and 1 is showing the recessive feature. Again I am stressing on this fact, this recessive character was not appeared in F1 generation, but it is able to express itself in the second generation. Okay, now so here you can also conclude this fact out. See this, just focus on this one. Okay, you can see that out of this 25% is pure dominating, that means pure traits, 50% mixed trait, and 25% again the recessive dominant recessive features. Okay, so this is the purple 3:1. What is the genotype? 1:2:1. So this is the result of F1 generation monohybrid cross. Clear? Then the Mendel's observation is an experiment. What he concluded, in F1 generation Mendel found that all pea plants were purple colored flower and none were there white colored. That means whenever two true breeders will mixed in parental generation, then which character will appears in F1 generation? None other than dominating one. Second, he also observed other pair of traits and found that F1 always resemble either one of its parents and the trait of the other parent was not found in them. That means in F1 generation only dominating character. In F2 generation he found that some of the offsprings were white colored flowers, and that means the character which were not seen in F1 generation were expressed in F2 generation, only 25%. Clear? And again remember one more fact, recessive character will exhibit itself only in homozygous condition. Clear? And this contrasting traits did not show any mixing either in F1 or F2 generation. That means the character will appears either dominating or recessive. There is no intermingling or intermixing of this feature and no intermediate character will appear. Okay. Now similar results were obtained with the other trait that he studied. Okay, and only one of the parental traits was expressed in F1 generation, while at F2 generation stage both the traits were expressed in the ratio of 3:1. Okay. He also found that the identical result in the dihybrid cross as in the monohybrid cross. Clear? On self pollinating F2 plants, he found that dwarf F2 plants continued to generate the dwarf plants in F3 and F4 generation if you allow to self pollinating them. Clear? Now then, what is the inference of the Mendel's experiments? Clear? So first of all, the Mendel inference that something was being passed down from parents to offspring through the gametes over successive generations, and he called them factors, now known as genes. So first of all, from his observation he concluded something is present inside the individual who is responsible to carry this character from one generation to next generation, and that time he called it as a factor. And now in the modern inheritance, and they contain the information required to express a trait. Clear? You know that gene is a hereditary unit. Clear? It is responsible to decide a particular feature of individual. Clear? Genes which codes for a pair of contrasting traits are called alleles or allelomorph. That means they may be similar or different in nature. Okay, then the Mendel also proposed that in a true breeding variety, the allelic pair of genes are identical or homozygous. That means that is capital TT for pure tall or pure dominating, and small tt for dwarf one. Okay, the capital TT and small tt are genotype of the plant, that is the tall and dwarf one. Then the descriptive term tall and dwarf are the phenotypic one. That means whatever the description, that means the expression of this trait, that is the dominating or recessive one. Okay, and when the tall and the dwarf pea plant produce gametes, the alleles of the parental pair segregate from each other and only one allele is transmitted to a gamete. Okay, just like that. When it will form its gamete, then only one type of gamete, capital T, but the number of chromosome become half. Similarly here half, but they are identical. Clear? And the gametes of the tall TT plants have capital T and dwarf TT will have small t. The segregation of allele is a random process, and so there is a 50% chance of a gamete containing either allele as verified by the result of crossing, and we can see that the capital T and small t traits are there, and the hybrid contain capital T and small t, that is called as heterozygous. So again two terms are there, homozygous and heterozygous. Clear? The Mendel also found that the phenotype of capital T and small t to be similar as the capital TT because one gene, this gene or this allelic gene is responsible to masking or hiding the character of the next gene. Clear? Or in the other term, this gene, small gene, is unable to express itself in the form of this capital one. Okay, so that's why we call this gene as a dominating gene and this one as a recessive one. Clear? That means make it very clear, if dominating gene is there, then it will always express itself. It doesn't matter what is the next gene, but to express the recessive gene, it is compulsion to have both the two genes as a recessive one or homozygous in nature. Clear? Now in the plant we can control gene by their crossing and this one thing. Okay, now here the next thing, that is the test cross. Remember, if you have an what do you say, the unknown individual, that means a plant, and it is showing the dominating feature, then it doesn't matter, it is a pure breed. Okay, so just to test that whether it is a homozygous or heterozygous, a cross is proposed by Mendel and it is termed as the test cross, because this cross is used to confirm that whether the individual is homozygous or heterozygous. Okay, so what is the test cross? When the F1 individual is crossed with the recessive parents, then this cross is called as test cross, and this test cross is a type of back cross. And what is the importance of it? It is able to decide that what is the genotype of the unknown individual. See that there is two possibility. One is with the homozygous dominating feature and second is the heterozygous. If it is capital WW, then 100% on crossing with this recessive parent, you will observe that the 100% individual will be dominating. Okay, but if it is mixed trait or it is heterozygous in nature, and when you test cross with the recessive parent, then you will observe that the ratio will be 1:1. That means 50% with the dominating feature and 50% with the recessive feature. So this is the test cross. And what is the importance of test cross? the test cross is used to confirm the genotype of the unknown individual. Okay, now here we are going to discuss the dihabit cross. Okay, so what is the dihabit cross? A cross in which the inheritance of the two pairs of contrasting characters is simultaneously studied, then it is called as dihabit cross. Just like that, in a parent you have to take the two contrasting character. Okay, just like that, shape of the seed and the color of the seed. Okay, what is it? The round and the which one? Yellow. This is the dominating one. And what is the second one? Just opposite trait? Yes, recall. Good. It is wrinkle and green in color. Okay. So here, just when we cross this dominating double allelic pair with the recessive one, that the green and wrinkle and yellow and round, you will get this gene, that is the capital YR and the small yr, and the F1 generation you will get 100% dominating feature, that means the yellow and round one. No recessive character will appear. Okay, now just go to examine the result of F2 generation. Just let them to make the gametes. So you will observe that it will form this four type of gametes: capital YR, capital Y small y capital R, and small y small r. Okay, so this is the one parent, this is the second parent. When they fuses, this is called as the Punnett square. Remember, this is the Punnett square, in which when these two will cross, you will get capital YY, capital RR, pure dominating trait. Okay, when this and this one will cross, then you will get this one. Okay, similarly, all one by one when you cross, then you will got the 16 offspring. Okay, and when you identify the result, then you will get this genotype 1:2:2:4:1:1:2:1:2:1. This one for the dominating feature. Okay, that is 9. This is for 3, this is for 3, this is for 1. That means what is the phenotypic feature? 9:1, 9:3:3:1. Remember, what was the monohybrid cross ratio? 1:2:1 genotype and 3:1 phenotype. And what is the genotype ratio of this dihabit cross? 1:2:2:4:1:2:1:2:1. And what is the phenotypic ratio of dihabit cross? It is 9:3:3:1. Remember, it will be very helpful to learn the next examples and the results of the dihabit and monohybrid cross. Clear? So the next feature, just I want to say you that just try to make the different monohybrid and dihabit cross by taking the contrasting features, okay, from that table, okay, of the dominating and recessive features. So this all about today. Just I want to say you thank you for listening me carefully. Just continue your practice, okay, and once again I am telling you, just practice twice or thrice for confirming the genotype and phenotypic ratio of monohybrid and dihabit cross. All the best.